What is up, Leg TV? It's your boy Maximus Black, and we have got a special little video for you today. We are going to be taking a look at the gameplay reveal of StormGate. First and foremost, big thank you to everybody that has been supporting our comeback into StarCraft content over the last month and a half or so. We do appreciate it, and we do plan to turn all of our favorite series into StormGate content as well. So, you know, When Cheese Fails, Nova Wars Says, Normal Games, all that stuff we plan to do with StormGate. And then I'm sure we will find a unique series that we can bring to life for StormGate as well. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because, number one, we're going to have content for this game here. And number two, I want to show you guys the gameplay footage and give you guys my honest opinion on what we are seeing. Some of it I really, really love. Some of it I'm skeptical of. And some of it I'm not a big fan of. So you're going to get a wide variety of opinions here. And, you know, we will discuss it in a bit of detail. I have recorded this video once before, but it was 43 minutes long. So I opted to re-record, make this a little bit shorter so that I'm not rambling so much. So what we're going to do here is we're going to watch the 3-minute and 44-second video with minimal interruptions so that you guys can really get a feel for it. And then we will watch it again, but I will be pausing and talking about specific things. For those who don't know, Frost Giant Studios was created with the sole purpose of creating the next generation of RTS. So basically the StarCraft 2 successor, and the majority of the team over there are the creators or have worked on games like Warcraft, games like StarCraft, and other beloved games that we all have been enjoying pretty much. I can't speak for you guys, but pretty much my entire life I've been playing some of these games. So if there is a team out there that can bring RTS back to the forefront and hook in a lot of new casual players and really give RTS a bump that I think it deserves, this is the studio that can do it. So without further ado, let's watch the gameplay. So this is a mirror matchup we're seeing here. Siege tank. Some micro. We'll talk about that.
Hi guys, this is TLO.
The legend.
Obviously played RTS my entire life, so it's been a real privilege for me to be one of the first people to try out StormGate. Really stoked about this match against Kevin. Think I'm gonna do some light harass in the early game and then just try to overwhelm him with a massive amount of macro.
So what I like here is these structures are built almost like a 3D
Hi,
printer.
my name is Kevin Monk Dong, and I work on gameplay and balance on StormGate. Today, I'll be trying a fast expansion build, and then I'll try to tech to higher tier units to defend whatever TLO throws at me. he did a lot of worker damage there, so I'm at a pretty bad economic disadvantage. I'm gonna have to try some really sneaky tactics, maybe getting an upgrade TLO isn't familiar with, perhaps maybe even luckily creepjacking him.
He's got like a drop ship. So just so you guys know, yes, that is a chicken, but it's not actually a chicken. It is just sort of a placeholder. The design, I guess, for this specific unit is not completed. So they're not actually, they are fighting chickens, but it's not actually supposed to be a chicken. Just so you know, pre-alpha.
Looking forward to hopefully dealing the finishing blow against Kevin here. I'll attack again from the right side through the light trees, but this time we'll bring in a larger force from the left side as well. And I think I'll be able to out-micro him here. He has a more static mech army, I believe, and my bio unit should be able to touch all the tech shots, get in there, and have a pretty smooth path of tech here.
GG. So there it is, a StormGate, and in the description below, I will have all of the links here, so you can go to playstormgate.com and sign up for the pre-alpha if you guys are interested in playing the game early. And also, I will post a link to the Steam wish list. I think everybody should go over there and at least put the game on the wish list. It definitely helps out Frost Giant. Okay, so I didn't really speak too much during that because I just wanted you guys to get a feel for the game. I'll be honest, I watched this presentation on the PC. There was like it was like a reveal show. I forget the name of it, but there was a PC show where they had Day 9 there, the godfather of RTS, really, or at least he's the godfather to me. And it was nice to have him there, but I will say that I thought the presentation was lackluster and weak, not because of the gameplay footage, but because there was so much talking going on, and Day 9 was asking some really basic questions. You just couldn't really hear the music. You couldn't really hear the units and the feel of the game, which just, sound design is so important for these types of games, and I just couldn't really feel it. And I didn't dislike it, but I felt it was a little underwhelming. When I watched this video here on YouTube, it really kind of brought everything together and got me a significantly more excited than the what we saw a little bit, what I saw at the PC show. So let's get into this. First and foremost, let's talk about some of the things at face value here. This game looks way more like a Warcraft Reforged or a Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne clone than it does StarCraft. Everything from the palette, which is, in my opinion, needs some work. I think maybe it's just the terrain and the units. Everything kind of looks a little muddy, or there's just not an insane amount of detail. Once again, it's pre-alpha, and I am sure it is going to change over the coming year. Because like I said earlier, StarCraft had a significant different look. I mean, even what the units were doing, and some units got axed completely. That'll be the same thing here for StormGate. But I will say I'm a little bit let down from an artistic design on where they're going from what I'm seeing. I think it looks a little bit too cartoony, and I don't want to say childlike, but, you know, if you were to see that chicken and I didn't pause the video and I said, you know, that chicken's not actually part of the game, you might have actually thought that, oh, you know, they're fighting like a chicken creep or something along those lines. And I think the palette that they're using, especially when we start looking at sort of bigger battles here, it's hard to distinguish the different units. Everything kind of looks similar. I know that it's a mirror matchup, so that definitely doesn't help. But I do find that there needs to be some more detail work, and I'm sure we're going to get that. I'm just going by what they are showing us so far. The other thing is that I wanted to talk about very quickly is the console down here. So this UI, I find slightly distractive. I would prefer to see this whole console stretch across the entire bottom of the screen. I'm not sure why they left this gap down here and this gap down here. I don't think it really adds any real value from a playing standpoint. I would just prefer to see it go right across, have your mini map down here in the bottom right like we're used to, have this part of the console over here. Of course, you've got your portrait. Everything else seems fine. I just find that this stuff here on the side looks bulky and distracting. I think if they keep it this way, I think you just remove this bulk here and this bulk here, which gives you a little bit more vision, and just keeps things cleaner. And there's not as much of a distraction, because I already find that the game, I don't know if it's the way the structures are and how sort of high up they come off the ground or whatnot, but it feels like my bird's eye view needs to be like 20% higher. And I don't know if there is a way in the game via a hotkey, maybe it's your middle mouse scroll, that you can zoom out, zoom down, so that you can have a little bit bigger field of view. I just find that this console it's too in my face. This just needs to be sort of in the background and something that I go and look down at specifically for my minimap. You've got your timer down here, which is fine. You've got your minerals and your gas. I don't know what these are called, so for now, I'm just going to call them minerals and gas. And then, of course, you've got your food. And I do love the little nod they have there of the loaf of bread for the food, which is, you know, your supply count. We used to call it back in the day your food. As you can see up here, your workers, you've got 8 out of 12. And then I'm assuming this is your gas. And it looks like you can put up to 4 workers at a time on the gas. So overall, from an artistic standpoint, I will say I do prefer the artistic standpoint of, say, a StarCraft or even Warcraft. But once again, Warcraft 3 is a completed game. This is pre-alpha, and I am sure we're going to see an improvement moving forward.
Really stoked about this match against.
So this is, I just wanted to kind of get some of the things that were that I don't even want to say are concerning, but some of the things that I'm not uber super excited about out the way before we get into some of the, you know, the stuff that I think is really, really intriguing and I'm excited for. Let's back up here to the micro battles and everything else we got going on. So first off, we see that, you know, you've got your siege tank like unit that is shooting off what looks to be like a big plasma cannon, and you can see its radius where it is going to fall. So that allows the opponent to, I'm assuming that the opponent can see the circle as well, and they'll be able to move out of the radius of that, or if they stay in it, everything in that area is going to be damaged. You also, pardon me, you've also got bushes here, where I'm also going to make the assumption that these units cannot see these units because they're hiding in a bush. So unless you've got an observer-like unit, or maybe a flying unit, or another ground unit in here to physically see them, the units on the outside are not going to have vision. So that's cool. I like that they're using the terrain as part of the strategy. We'll see how that plays out in terms of balance and all that stuff, which, you know, just adds another element of strategy and adds more skill cap to the game, which I like to see. Once again, in terms of the color palette and things that are going on, it's hard to distinguish exactly what's going on over here. A lot of the units look the same. There's not a whole lot of personality between them. And that could, once again, just be it's pre-alpha and it's a mirror matchup. Let's continue to move forward here. This part is really, really cool. So this part is really nice to see. So if you take a look on the right-hand side here, let me take off my webcam so you can really see what's going on. If you take a look down here, you're going to see the player basically just right-click. So you see this little green and then red, green, red. That's them, you know, A moving, stutter stepping. So they're clicking A and right-clicking for it to be red, and then they're just right-clicking for it to be green. So move and then A move. But what the thing that gets me excited is look how responsive these clicks are to the actual micro. I mean, it is instantaneous, and it is nice. It is nice to see an RTS that understands high skill cap on a competitive scale. A lot of the RTSs that we've been seeing over the last 5 years, even a decade, since StarCraft 2, feels very clunky. It just feels very unresponsive, and it feels as though the mechanics of the game kind of keep you at a ceiling. You only can do so much, and it's nice to see that you can really go nuts and outplay your opponent simply by skill and not necessarily by, you know, just A moving and praying for the best. Let's keep this going. This dropship here dropped some melee units and is attacking what I will call a siege tank for now. You'll also notice that there's another siege tank, and you'll notice when he shot off that plasma ball or cannon, whatever you want to call it, he actually hurt his own units. Look. So you see how much the health went down. So it looks like there is going to be friendly fire with AoE, which is nice to see as well, and can also create a lot more strategic play for both sides, really. But our red human player knew that this was going to start attacking this. What could have been really nice is to drop 2 of the melee units here and drop 2 of the melee units here and have both of these siege tanks shooting at the opponent and blowing themselves up. So these are the things that you can do that's nice to see. I mean, this is great. And look, you see he's going to go over there. Okay.
Hi guys, this is TLO. Obviously played Artisma and be one of the first people to try out Storm.
So I've already talked about the structures. I do like how these are building. It gives the race a little bit more of a personality, which is nice. Let's talk about the scouts here.
Balance on StormGate. Today I'll be trying a fast expansion build, and then I'll try to tech to higher tier units to defend whatever TLO throws at me.
So I really like the terrain play. So that's going to be a big part of the strategy as well. This scout, which is actually called Scout, I'm going to move my webcam again. I like the fact that it can sense units. Now, it can't see the units yet because the units are still in the fog of war, but it can sense the units. So it knows if something is approaching, and unfortunately, the scout continues to move forward, and it meets its maker. But I do like that. I also like the fact that these ground units can actually run through the trees and attack a base, while bigger units cannot get through there without some sort of special ability or upgrade of some sort. The other thing that was cool and kind of meh for me to see is seeing this human race repair or build a structure with multiple workers. So just like in Warcraft, when you were playing the humans, you can speed run a structure by pulling a bunch of workers. Now, obviously, you're going to lose worker mining time. You know, it might even cost some extra, we'll call minerals, to kind of to rush this out. So there definitely is a risk and reward to doing that. Obviously, Monk here really needed to do this, or he would have lost this entire base essentially. But the game looks so much like Warcraft. To see this as well, I want to see a little bit more originality with the structure or the gameplay, so to speak. Obviously, they are going to draw inspiration from Warcraft and StarCraft, and a lot of these developers created those games. It's their babies. So I understand that fully, and I want that. I want to have some StarCraft elements and some Warcraft elements. At the end of the day, it's an RTS genre. You're going to have units that look very similar, like these to Marines and those siege tanks and those medevacs, and you're going to have a lot of those same things. But I want to see a little bit of StormGate personality, and I'm not, from what I've seen so far, outside of just like an artistic direction, mechanically speaking, I'm not really seeing any major originality. I do like the terrain stuff, but once again, it's pre-alpha. It's one race. We're getting a small snippet. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more, but I'm just being honest with what we're given and what we're seeing here. So the turret comes out, and then these two Vulcans come out, and they are big, heavy-duty units.
You did a lot of worker damage there, so I'm at a pretty bad economic disadvantage. I'm going to have to try some really sneaky tactics, maybe getting an upgrade TLO isn't familiar with, perhaps maybe even luckily creepjacking him.
All right, so here we go. So he's dropping in. It looks like Blue is here is fighting a creep of some sort. I don't know what this pinkish orb will do. Maybe it's some kind of boost or buff. Maybe it gives vision. I don't know. But it's, once again, it's very Warcraft-like. You don't have these things in StarCraft. Yeah. And once again, there's the placeholder chicken. So I like that he basically counter creeped TLO. So TLO is out here farming a little bit. Once again, I don't know what kind of benefits you get from destroying this stuff and picking up things. But it was nice to see Monk kind of go out there and attack TLO while TLO was out here on the minimap, exploring and I guess buffing up, maybe, even though there's no hero units. And you'll notice when he kills the chicken, it says plus 50, plus 0. So maybe that just gives the minerals. Maybe that's like plus 50 minerals and then not plus 50 gas. That could very well be it. Don't know. So this right here is cool to see. You've got a drop ship, which it's obviously not called a drop ship, but you've got a drop ship here. You've got a siege tank kind of shooting off. Really nice micro there. Both sides were picking up units, and you'll also be able to see how many units these things can hold. So it looks like this can only hold 2 of the Vulcans, and then it looks like you can almost hold 8 of these Marine-like characters.
Looking forward to hopefully dealing the finishing blow against Kevin here.
And you've got a healer back there. Oh, see this right here? Medevac.
Hopefully dealing the finishing blow against Kevin here. It's bringing Vulture out micro him here. He has a more static mech army, I believe, and my buy units should be able.
So that's really cool. So that must have been some sort of upgrade where they can just kind of rip through those trees, and 2 of them took down basically the whole path. And ultimately, they come in here and they win the game. The other thing that I noticed is the units are spread quite a bit. So there's quite a bit of a gap in between these Marine-like units and a lot of these other units. which is a little bit concerning because I feel like a lot of these bases are very similar to Warcraft, where it feels very enclosed, and it's almost very intimate. It doesn't feel like it's one of those things where you're going to be getting eight barracks, 4 factories, 2 Stargates, or 4 Stargates, or starports, I should say, if you're playing Terran. But like, it feels as though there isn't going to be a whole lot of structures, and maybe that's just because of the type of game and the display that they wanted to show here. I could be wrong. But if you have 100 units coming down here and they're all spread out by, half an inch apiece, well, that's not really half an inch, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a gap that is significant. It's going to be hard to have all these units sort of in the fight, especially when these chokeholds are so narrow. And it doesn't. Maybe you can, but it doesn't seem like you can break down all of these trees with using that ability. It seems like there's very specific areas where the forest is much more shallow, so that you can kind of rip through stuff. I don't know, but that's a bit concerning. So I don't know how big of an army. It's very clear that this is a slower paced RTS from what I'm seeing. Now, I'm not necessarily saying the game length is going to be much slower and you're going to be playing 30, 40, 50-minute games, but the pace of the game in terms of how fast your units are moving and how many units you're building at once, et cetera, it feels like it's very Warcraft-like, which, to some is a absolute bonus and a benefit, and to others it might be interesting, and I'm more of the interesting. And then, once again, I spoke about this earlier. I still just feel like the design of the units are still just a little bit, in terms of like the palette, the color palette and stuff, it's just a little bit bland. It just kind of all blends together. But it's pre-alpha, and I know for a fact all of this stuff will be addressed and taken care of. They just wanted to present the world with what they have, and they're excited, and I'm excited too. Now, I went in with my expectations through the roof. I mean, the team, the fact that, like, I'm just over StarCraft 2, I'm over Blizzard. I am unfairly putting StormGate at such an expectation that it would be a small miracle for them to get to where I wanted to see the game for a first look. It's impossible. It just is. Do I wish they would have waited maybe 3 more months? I think so. I think a few more months just to fine-tune a few things. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's their job to win over a lot of the casual audience. They've already won me over. The team itself, I'm just like, shut up and take my money and take my time. I'm in. Okay, you don't need to win me over. I'm already there. But it's in order for this game to have a really long legs, they need to find that middle ground where they are appeasing the hardcore RTS, almost elitist players and fans, and then they need to also appease the casuals, the ones that just want to go in and have some fun. And of course, there's going to be a campaign, there's going to be cooperative stuff, there's going to be 2v2s and 3v3s, and they've talked about potentially a 4th race. So it's very ambitious what they're trying to do, and I have to say, this is the best looking RTS that we have seen since StarCraft 2 in terms of from a competitive standpoint, and a visual standpoint, and just the type of RTS that gets me going. A lot of the RTS that come out, I don't even play or buy, and I'm a massive RTS fan, but I'm a massive Blizzard RTS fan, and the type of RTS that they make, and that's what Stormgate and Frost Giant, I should say, is doing here for us. So obviously, I have some slight, not concerns, but some slight minor gripes about the look of the game itself. It's not necessarily a look that I would have chosen personally. It's a little cartoony. It's Warcraft mixed with Dota. It's not as dark as, say, Dota. It's very, very vibrant and colorful. It's just a matter of, I guess, when the campaign comes out, we just got to fall in love with these characters. We got to fall in love with the story and the lore of Stormgate. And I think that will add to the love of the look of these characters and units and whatnot. So this is just my honest opinion of the game, guys. I wanted to come on here and say, oh my God, this, like, my life, it will never be the same. This is so incredible. I can't wait. I still can't wait, but, like, I have to be realistic here. I'm not going to be one of these content creators that, because I'm excited and because it's my job to play and cast this, that I'm going to try and convince you guys that this is the greatest thing that we have that we have seen, since sliced bread. That's not the case. But this is a very, very, very good start to what I'm hoping will be a very long life cycle for Stormgate. The dev team, the fact that they are listening to the community. I'm sure that there's somebody from Frost Giant that's going to listen to this video. They have their hand on the pulse here. They've got people like TLO, they've got Day 9, they've got our other StarCraft 2 creators working alongside them to give them feedback, to test things out. The pre-alpha actually comes out next month. I'm not sure if it's only going to be one race available, or there'll be 3 races or 2 races, if all of the units will be completed to some degree. And then it's just really a balancing and a feedback standpoint and fine-tuning things as time goes on. I believe in this studio. I believe in this game. I am still very, very excited. Sorry about that. I am still very, very excited about the game. But I will say my excitement, my expectation levels was through the roof. Now it's just below the roof, right? I had to just bring it down a peg because it's unfair to me and it's unfair to the team to think that we're going to get a StarCraft 2 or a Warcraft 3 full-blown experience on a pre-alpha gameplay reveal. It's just not feasible. So, what I will give this an honest rating out of 10 from a day one gameplay reveal, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. And once again, those points being deducted is simply from the fact that we're just not seeing an insane amount, and the stuff that we're seeing is a lot of the same stuff that we've seen in the past, but ultimately done better in the past, simply because this is pre-alpha. Now, when this thing gets fine-tuned and we see some changes here and some add-ons, this could easily get up to a 9. This could be the next 10 out of 10. But I think a 7.5 is something that they should pat their backs on in terms of, like, from a rating I'm giving them. Some other creators and fans may watch this and say this is our coming to Jesus moment, and this is a 10 out of 10. This is a 12 out of 10. And listen, if you feel that way, I'm not going to steal that from you. It's warranted depending on how you're looking at it. But I think if they would have waited 3 more months, I think it would have translated a little bit better to the casual players and people that are wanting to get into RTS for the first time. And I honestly just think that PC presentation they did just was not. This one is just so much better. I would have just loved for them to just done this and then talked about the game after they showed this video with Day 9. And I do believe it was Tim that was there. But one way or another, guys, I'm still very excited. This is very promising. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys like the fact? There's going to be people out there that are going to love the fact, I know Adam does, that this is more Warcraft than it is StarCraft. has StarCraft elements for sure, but it's more Warcraft than StarCraft. Are you a bit disappointed? Would you have liked to have seen more of a StarCraft approach than a Warcraft approach? Do you guys agree with me that the color palette and the aesthetic of the game itself isn't what I was expecting? I mean, I was seeing some of the artwork and the design over the months, but to see the actual gameplay footage, it's like, whoa, okay, all right, this is bold. Yeah, just let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm sure the folks over at Frost Giant Studios will be reading those comments, and will take the consensus into consideration moving forward. So, let it be vocal. Just understand, guys, that this is pre-alpha, okay? And pre-alpha is not alpha. Pre-alpha is not beta, right? This is pre-alpha. This is bare bones, and I think that it's very impressive what they have here as a pre-alpha. And I know that we nitpicked a little bit, but, I think that that's probably what they want to hear. They want to hear these things. So I'm not just going to turn a blind eye to the things that I think is like, okay, I'm going to speak my mind. So there it is, guys. The moment that I can get my hands on this, hopefully will be next month. I will release some footage if they allow it. Because I'm sure in the beginning they may not allow anybody to stream it or do anything, or they may have approval things like, if you want to, they may ask you, okay, you know what, you can do a showcase on this or that and whatnot, and kind of trickle it out. Because when things are like this in this form, you don't really want the entire world to think that this is the final product, right? So you got to be careful with how fast you are putting all this stuff out to the masses. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because my last video was like 43 minutes and this is at 36. I'm going to shut up now. Hit the like button, guys, for StormGate. Go into the description below. Follow them on social media. Sign up for the pre-alpha and make sure that you all put this game on the wish list. It helps them out. And let me know how excited you are for this. Thank you so much, guys, and I will be back with more StormGate content the moment that we see more or I can get my hands on it. All right, guys. Peace out.